We did audience research with WIC participants, their significant others, typically the fathers of the baby and the mother of the baby, as well as with WIC employees. The research with the end consumer, the WIC participants and their significant others, suggested that the exchange of costs and benefits was not significant enough to get them to breastfeed because of very unaffordable costs, and they are embarrassment, which is probably one of the most widespread. I would say in all ethnic groups and around the country, we still have a significant problem with women feeling uncomfortable having other people see their breasts when they breastfeed, and in some cases even extended family members. So embarrassment was one of the unaffordable costs that we had to worry about lowering. Another cost or barrier was feeling that you would be so tied to this child that you had to give up your social life, and in particular that you would have to give up going back to school, pursuing a career, keeping a good job. And for women who are economically disadvantaged, these are really important goals that are hard to either postpone or possibly sacrifice. So there's a dear cost to have to pay. It, of course, is something that can be lowered because breastfeeding can fit in with work and an active social life and school, but a lot of women didn't know that in the mid-90s when we did our research. A third cost we would call lack of self-efficacy or confidence, and we'd picked this up in earlier research as well as an overarching kind of umbrella under which a lot of problems in breastfeeding occur, where women don't feel that their bodies can make an adequate supply of nutritious milk and fear that they should rely on a product where bright scientists have packaged this and they can count on every bottle having the right mix of vitamins and minerals. And of course the pity is that they'd have to have a lousy diet for a very long time before they can't beat Similac or Enfamil or any of the other products, but they don't realize that. And we think that these women are on a program that they qualify for in many cases because they have a nutritional risk factor that plays right into the doubt that they have. So that's a major problem, and it kind of relates to even the embarrassment, not feeling up to the task of standing up to teasing or ridicule, which is a real shame. The other very important cost or factor that you could consider a barrier is the lack of social support. It also says something, I think, about our society that even today, many women don't feel that they have encouragement from the man in their life or from their own mother or mother-in-law. And our research has shown since the early 70s that if a woman doesn't have some support from around her, it's very hard for her to be able to succeed in realizing her own goals to breastfeed. So lack of support is really critical. And it also played out in our research with those significant others that they didn't understand the benefits, and when informed about them actually did change their mind in some cases. But the fears were these. From the grandmother's point of view and the father, they didn't want to be left out. They were looking forward to this child arriving, and they were afraid if they couldn't feed the baby, they couldn't bond to the baby, and they couldn't wait to help out and be close to that child. From the mother's point of view, the possibility that the man in her life would not have a close relationship with this child is very terrifying. And also to disappoint your own mother or other people in your life who want to be part of this wonderful thing that's about to happen to you. So these are very high costs and make this product, breastfeeding, unaffordable to many families, including those who already see the benefits and really want to breastfeed. All products in public health have some competition, but in the case of breastfeeding, there is an industry that produces the competition, an industry that's well-funded and that distributes its product through WIC as well as other outlets, making it a very direct competition with breastfeeding promotion in the WIC program. So there is definite need to compare how women perceive the product, breastfeeding, from their perceptions of the competition, bottle feeding. And again, our consumer research looked at this very carefully. And our task was to find out of all the benefits in the bundle of things that would make breastfeeding attractive, which of those advantages really distinguish breastfeeding from bottle feeding, the competition, and then position the product, and this is the challenge always, to position your product in the consumer's mind so that it is uniquely better than the competition. So in our case, we found that women talked about infant nutrition being better, a healthier baby, fewer ear infections, better immunological protection, and so on. All the things that we've been talking about for decades in promoting breastfeeding. They talked about how convenient it is. They talk about how much cheaper it is to breastfeed. But as we heard them talk about these, they really didn't distinguish effectively enough. It wasn't until they started talking about the emotional benefits and how breastfeeding can make you so close to your baby and can create this very special feeling. As one woman said, it's those special moments that make motherhood so worthwhile. And so as we put women who breastfed together with those who were planning to bottle feed, we noticed in the conversations that as they went through this litany of benefits, it wasn't until they started talking about what it feels like and how special it is to breastfeed, and how even 5, 10, 15 years later, when the little child comes to you and says, "Did you breastfeed?" you can say, "Yes, I did," and you'll feel closer even then. As they talked about these emotional benefits, we could see the eyes of the bottle feeders open wide, and many of them, if not almost all, said, "You know, I might rethink this or give it a shot." So there in front of our eyes, we could watch the positioning take place, and that of all of these benefits, that instead of defining breastfeeding as the best public health choice for this country, what you should do for your baby, we recommend that people start talking about it as a way you realize your dream of creating this wonderful, close, loving family. It will last for a long time.